It's a Tuesday morning. Daniel has lived in this country for 11 years. He built a business here. He bought a house here. His daughter was born here. He's not checking the news. He's not checking social media. He's staring at an email from the IRS that arrived at 11:58 p.m. the night before. His hands are shaking. His coffee is getting cold. And in 6 hours, he has an appointment at the USCIS field office for his naturalization interview. He doesn't understand the letter. He never thought he was hiding anything. He just had a savings account back home that his mother used to send him money. He thought it didn't matter. He never reported it, and now everything he built might be at risk. What if I told you the IRS already knows about your foreign bank account, even if it's in another country, even if it's in your mother's name, even if you haven't touched it in years, and if you haven't reported it? The penalty alone can be $16,536 per year, not a mistake, not a warning, a federal financial penalty. And here's the part that changes everything. Unreported foreign accounts can be flagged during your citizenship application, which means it's not just your money at risk, it's your green card, your naturalization case, your entire immigration future. One form you didn't know existed can cost you everything you spent years building. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share could be the most important 15 minutes of your life in this country. Here's the painful truth. Most immigrants who get penalized for foreign accounts are not criminals, they're not laundering money, they're not evading taxes, they're ordinary people who didn't know a law existed, they had a small savings account abroad, or a family joint account in another country, or a dormant account somewhere they forgot to close, and they thought, it's over there, it's not here, it's not my problem. That thought right there is the most dangerous financial assumption an immigrant can make in America. Because the United States tax system follows you across borders. It doesn't matter where the money is held. If you are a U.S. person, a citizen, a green card holder, or even certain visa holders, and you have more than $10,000 in total across all foreign accounts at any point during the year, you are legally required to report it every single year. It's called the fbar, the Foreign Bank Account Report. Most people have never heard of it, and the government counts on that. Now let me show you the 4 traps that catch good people off guard. The first one, you look at your foreign account. The balance right now is $4,000. You exhale, you think you're safe. But the IRS isn't looking at today's balance. They're looking at every single day of the entire year. The $10,000 threshold is based on the highest combined total across all your foreign accounts at any moment during the year. People think in snapshots. They check the current balance, not the peak. So go back through every foreign account you've touched this year, find the single highest point across all of them combined. If it ever crossed 10,000, even for one day, you must file. This is not optional. This is not a gray area. This is federal law. The second trap. The account has your name on it, but it's your father's account, your brother's account, your grandmother's savings. You think, it's not really mine, I'm just listed in case something happens. Under fbar rules, if you have signature authority over an account or a financial interest in it, it counts as your account for reporting purposes. In many cultures, shared accounts are normal, expected, and unquestioned, but the law doesn't care about culture. It cares about your name. If your name is on a foreign account in any capacity, consult a tax professional about your reporting obligations. Do not assume family arrangements protect you from U.S. disclosure requirements. They don't. The third trap. And this one surprises people the most. You filed your taxes every year on time. You even hired an accountant. But your accountant never asked about foreign accounts, and you never mentioned them. So you assumed everything was fine. Here's what you didn't know. FBR is a completely separate filing from your tax return. It's not filed with the IRS. It's filed with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. FinCEN. Different form, different deadline, different agency entirely. Most accountants who aren't specialized in international tax simply don't ask. And most immigrants assume one filing covers everything. So ask your tax preparer directly, did you file my FBAR, Form 114, with FinCEN? If they look confused, find a new accountant who specializes in international tax compliance immediately. The fourth trap, you had an account back home, it's closed now, done, gone, history. You think, why would I report something that doesn't exist anymore? The IRS has a 6-year statute of limitations for FBR violations, and in some cases, no limit when non-disclosure is considered willful. Past years of non-filing can still be examined and penalized. Closing the account doesn't erase the filing requirement that existed when it was open. But here's what you can do. Use the IRS voluntary disclosure programs, specifically the streamlined filing compliance procedures, to file past due FBARs with significantly reduced penalties. Acting voluntarily before the IRS contacts you is the single most powerful legal protection available to you. Don't wait. Move now. Now let's talk about your rights, because you have them, and they are powerful. The law that requires foreign account reporting is the Bank Secrecy Act of 1970, Section 5314. But buried inside the same legal framework are protections for people who voluntarily comply. The streamlined filing compliance procedures were created specifically for people who had foreign accounts and failed to report them, not because they were dishonest, but because they genuinely didn't know. If your non-compliance was non-willful, meaning you didn't know, you may qualify to file late FBARs with a dramatically reduced penalty. For taxpayers living outside the United States, the penalty can be zero. For taxpayers living inside the United States, the penalty is typically 5% of the highest account balance, far less than $16,536. And here's what matters for your immigration case. USCIS and the IRS communicate. But there is a critical window. If you disclose before being flagged, your voluntary compliance demonstrates good moral character. That is a key requirement for naturalization. If you wait until you're discovered, the government may treat it as willful concealment. The difference between those two paths is the difference between becoming a citizen and losing your green card. The law gives you a door. It will not stay open forever. Walk through it now. Here is exactly what to do, step by step, starting today. Step 1. Stop and take inventory. Write down every bank account you hold or have held abroad in the past 6 years. Include accounts you share with family members. Include dormant accounts. Include accounts from countries you no longer live in. Do not rely on memory alone. Contact the financial institution if needed. Step 2. Calculate the aggregate maximum balance. For each calendar year going back 6 years, find the single highest combined balance across all foreign accounts. If it ever exceeded $10,000 in any year, you had a filing obligation for that year. Step 3. Do not file anything on your own yet. This is not a do-it-yourself situation. Filing an incorrect FBAR or filing without a legal strategy can actually make things worse. Say this out loud: I will not file without professional guidance. Step 4. Find a qualified international tax attorney or CPA, not just any accountant. You need someone who specifically works with FBAR filings, IRS voluntary disclosure programs, streamlined filing compliance procedures. Ask them directly. Have you handled FBAR cases for immigrants before? Are you familiar with the IRS streamlined procedures? If they hesitate, find someone else. Step 5. Document that your non-compliance was non-willful. Gather evidence. When did you open the account? Did any U.S. professional ever advise you on foreign account reporting? Did you ever intentionally try to conceal anything? Your attorney will use this documentation to argue for the lowest possible penalty. Step 6. Use the IRS streamlined procedures and act fast. These procedures are voluntary, meaning you must come to the IRS before they come to you. If you receive an IRS notice before you file, you may lose access to the reduced penalty programs. Time is literally money here, and it is not on your side. Step 7. Disclose proactively to your immigration attorney if you have a pending green card, a naturalization application, or any upcoming USCIS interview. Tell your immigration attorney what's happening. They can help you frame voluntary tax compliance as evidence of good moral character. This is a legal strategy. Use it. Step 8. Never lie or withhold this information from any federal officer. If asked directly by USCIS or the IRS about foreign accounts, even if you haven't resolved the problem yet, do not lie. Say clearly and calmly, I am currently working with a tax professional to review my compliance obligations. That one sentence is honest. That one sentence protects you legally. That one sentence is all you need. Let me tell you about Maria. She's a permanent resident. She's been living in the U.S. for 7 years. Tonight, she's returning from her brother's wedding abroad. 14 hours of travel, 2 exhausted children, and a heart full of memories. She reaches the passport booth at customs. The officer looks at her passport, looks at the screen, types something, then says, "Ma'am, can you step to the secondary screening area, please?" Maria's children look up at her. She grips her younger daughter's hand. In secondary screening, a second officer sits across from her at a metal desk. He says, "Do you have any financial accounts outside of the United States?" Here's what most people do wrong in this moment. They panic, they say no without thinking, or they start explaining everything immediately without understanding their rights. Both of those responses can cause serious problems. Here is what you should do. First, breathe. You are not under arrest. You are not accused of a crime. Border officers have authority to ask questions, but you also have rights. Second, answer calmly and truthfully. If you have foreign accounts, say this: yes, I have a bank account in country. I am currently working with a tax advisor to review my reporting obligations. That is a complete, honest, legally protective answer. Third, do not overshare. You are not required to hand over your phone. You are not required to reveal your account balances. You are not required to name every family member connected to an account. Answer what is asked, precisely, calmly, truthfully. And fourth, if you feel the questioning is going beyond normal customs procedure, I'd like to speak with my attorney before answering further questions. You have that right. Even at the border, even as a green card holder, Maria was released. Maria collected her children. They walked toward the exit because she knew what to say. She walked out of that airport the same person who walked in. I need to say something directly to you. If you're watching this right now, and something I've said made your stomach drop, you are not alone. Thousands of immigrants are in your exact situation right now. Thousands of good people. Hardworking people, people who paid their bills on time, raised their children right, built something real in this country, and simply didn't know about a form. That is not a character flaw. That is not dishonesty. That is what happens when you're navigating two worlds, two languages, two financial systems, while also working full-time, raising a family, and building a life from scratch in a country that didn't speak your language when you arrived. You deserve to know your rights. You deserve to know the path forward. You deserve to walk into any government office, any border crossing, any courtroom, with your head held high, knowing you did what was right the moment you knew it was necessary. The law is not your enemy here. Ignorance is the enemy, and now you're not ignorant anymore. The people who don't know what you now know are still at risk. The people who do know and who act are the ones who keep their futures intact. That's you. Before you close this video, I want you to think about one person in your life. A cousin who just got their green card, a friend who sends money home every month, a parent who still has an account open in the home country, a coworker who has been in this country for years but never worked with a tax professional. They don't know what you now know, and the penalty for not knowing is $16,000 or more. Send this video to that person, not because it's interesting, not because it went viral, because it could protect them from a mistake that could change their life. One share, one video, one moment of reaching out could be the reason someone keeps their case, keeps their status, keeps their dream alive. That's worth more than a like. That's worth more than a comment. That is the kind of community we build when we look out for each other. And this channel exists for one reason: to make sure that no immigrant, no matter where they're from, no matter how long they've been here, no matter how complicated their situation, faces these systems alone. The information shared here is based on current U.S. law and publicly available IRS and FinCEN guidance. But your situation is unique. The laws change, the thresholds shift, the enforcement landscape evolves. That's why the most important step is always the same. Consult a qualified immigration attorney and an international tax professional before making any decisions. Not because you can't understand this, you clearly can, but because you deserve advice that is tailored to your case, your accounts, your timeline, and your future. You are not a statistic, you are not a case number, you are a person who came to this country with nothing but determination, and you deserve every legal protection available to you. Subscribe if you want to stay protected. Share if someone you love needs to hear this. And remember, the most powerful thing you can do for your future is to know your rights before you need them. We'll see you in the next one.